Hey guys, what is up? It is Dead City 25 coming back at you with not a gameplay video this time, but just a little bit of info. Now, it's been, I don't know, probably about 36, maybe 48 hours since the community transmission dropped. And this is the newest community transmission. Kind of why I'm talking about it. But what is to look ahead, and maybe what is some half and half of maybe an, some would describe an underwhelming community transmission. But the first thing I do gotta say is what everybody's saying. We're getting clone commandos. Even though we were kind of trolled about it by Ben Walkover on Twitter, you know, about a week ago, saying that clone commandos weren't part of the prophecy and weren't going to be in the update and part of the roadmap. And here we are a week later, and haha, he was cheeky. And that goes into a little bit later what I'm talking about in this video. But the little gift that they gave us of the clone commandos, they look awesome. They look like they are just ready to rip it up on the battlefield. The blue light coming out of the helmet. I mean, it looks fantastic. I mean, if you haven't seen it, definitely, I'm going to be putting a link in the description, and you'll be able to see that GIF. It just looks just epic. I cannot wait to play as a clone commando and go up against some droidicas and absolutely destroy. Also, coming in August, we're going to get the Ventor and the Dreadnought maps for Heroes versus Villains, which is fantastic. I mean, this is good. New maps for HVV, I think, has definitely been asked for. I know I've definitely been on the grind sometimes, and the maps can just kind of get old, especially if you get some repeat maps kind of going over back and forth. I seem to always somehow end up going to Kashyyyk, which is probably my most hated map, just because it's just so easy to get force pushed off the edge. So, kind of going back to this, don't want to get off topic too much. Venator and Dreadnought looking really cool. Can't wait to see what they have on both capital ships, basically what that kind of layout is going to look like. I'm sure it's going to look fantastic. Especially, that kind of goes right into the next thing, capital ship interior changes. I don't know really why they kind of went into this. This seems like this could have been in a whole totally different community transmission, but hey, whatever. They go for about a couple paragraphs describing kind of how capital supremacy is going to be changing and some capital ship interior change. I don't know. We're just going to have to see what exactly they change up. I thought that the capital ships looked fantastic visually. So we're going to have to really see what DICE came up with to kind of give it a little bit of a fresh polish on it. The next thing to really mention is the new spawning for capital supremacy, which you're going to be able to spawn on control points, very much like the original Battlefront series, which I don't know why that wasn't just right off the bat. To me, that seems like it's just, that should go hand in hand and should be right there with it. But it took a little bit, you know, as it seems like DICE always kind of gets it half right most of the time. And, you know, now we're finally getting, of course, not acquired by your team, or if it's being contested. And that's kind of like a no-brainer. But if it is yours, it's not contested, you're going to be able to spawn on it. It's not going to be directly on top of it. They are saying you're going to be a few meters back. And honestly, that's still not bad. That's still being able for you to spawn in and get directly back up in to gameplay, which is going to be awesome. Droid appearances is another thing, to which this is kind of, I saw this was kind of that beginning of a lot of reviewers the last couple hours to where this was kind of 50-50. Some of them were super excited. Others were kind of, this is okay. And I'm kind of in the same way. I just kind of have a mixed feeling about it. It's not like it's a bad thing. Definitely having that change up in just what these guys look appearance-wise isn't a bad thing. It's just maybe not what we were looking for. And this kind of goes throughout this community transmission to where it was just kind of an odd one. To where, if you're asking me, it was just overhyped. It was hyped to the absolute ends of the earth, that it was going to be so big and it was going to be so huge, and it's not like it's not a lot of information, and it's not like it's not good information and good things coming with bug fixes and clone commandos and, you know, just even some changes of the new game mode. Those are all cool things. It's just, I just kind of, the more that I was getting, right as I got to September, because that basically ends August, once I got to September, I was already kind of half, like, bored. I don't know. That's just how I felt. Maybe leave a comment, tell me if you felt differently, but that's just how I felt about it. I just was like, I'm kind of bored. But into September, they are going to be releasing Felucia, which, that's fantastic. Now, I was kind of disappointed. I was kind of disappointed a little bit to the point that this was only going to be a capital supremacy map. I thought they were going to put a Galactic Assault version and give a little love to that game mode, but apparently DICE just didn't think that was appropriate, to which I do understand. Capital supremacy is kind of like their new baby, and they kind of only want to keep it giving it love. So, you know, so it's not a negative, it's just not what I was expecting as this kind of rolls through this community transmission. Not bad things, just not expected. If you want to get into what the Felucia map is going to be about storyline-wise, you can go ahead and get onto the community forum and go ahead and read through that. I'm not going to go through that. I know a lot of reviewers already have. So, like I said, I'm just not going to go really into that. Co-op play, I'm not really going to go into that. That was just another thing to where I was like, I'm glad it's here. I'm glad that's, it's just one of those things I think could have been a separate transmission, and one of those things that, to me, they're really trying to glorify right now, and I'm not, as a player, going to glorify them for it, because it's stuff that, honestly, they should have had at launch. This is one of those things to where I'm not going to pat DICE and EA on the back for it. I'm just going to be like, hey, you know what? I'm glad you have it, but I'm not jumping over joy for it. It's just, you know, it helps. It helps, but, you know, I'm not all about it. Instant action is coming back. That is really cool. But again, it's just, you know, the single player stuff, you know, it's great for the longevity of the game. You know, when these servers are shut down in a couple of years, you know, 5 years, 10 years, you know, who knows how long they're going to keep supporting this game. I would say at least 5 years. I don't know. But, you know, at least the game is going to have something after, you know, online is over. You know, it was a good ad, but again, it's just something I feel like should have already been there. As you go in there, they also show a nice little gif of kind of the movement of the commandos. It does look really cool. They give them their own little separate reload and their transition into their little into their launcher, which it looks all super awesome, and definitely, you know, keeping up to what we and the fans know of these guys. You can definitely get into their abilities too. I'm not going to get into that. I might get into that a little bit more when these guys actually drop, but for right now, if you want to go ahead and read that, I'm just ready for kind of a new weapon on that reinforcement with the DC-17 repeating blaster. But I'm not going to really get into that. Like I said, that is on the roadmap. Go ahead and check that out. Kind of going over, basically you got the roadmap at the very end. So Venator, Dreadnought, coming to Heroes and Villains. Also, the star cards are also coming next week with that update. The spawning and the battle droids. That is for the month of August. For September, we're going to have the new map of Felucia, the PvE co-op modes. We're going to get the new reinforcement with the Clone Commando, and a new large-scale single-player and instant action. That's all coming in September. And here we go into October and December, and this is where I was kind of talking about a little bit earlier, to kind of, you know, getting trolled. And if we're looking at the very first part of that, on October side, it says new reinforcements plus reinforcement appearances. Now, I found this actually odd, and I wasn't the only one. Now, I didn't find a lot of guys, and don't get me wrong, I probably only searched about maybe 5 or 6 guys, but only one of them had the same thought that I did, or at least mentioned it in their video. If you really think about it, when they've dropped the new reinforcement of any kind, have they given us a skin for them? No. The answer is no, they haven't given us a skin for them. So that really puts me to believe it's a hero or villain. And I know before you're like, whoa, wait, they're saying it's a reinforcement. They're trolling us, in my opinion. I think that they're using that as just a cheeky way to word it, because if you're actually playing the game, the heroes and villains are on the same side. They're on the same panel as all of the other reinforcements. So I think that new reinforcements are going to be Ahsoka and Ventress. I think that we've been hinted at it, we've been teased at it. So many reviewers think that it's coming. And, you know, there are others that we know are in the game files, kind of like Padme is another one that there has been, you know, leaks of her being in the game files. So I think new heroes and villains are there. I just don't think they want to give it to us. I don't think they want to let us know that we're right, or that we're on the right track, just like they did with the Clone Commandos. I mean, up to a week ago, they were still like, you guys aren't getting them, you guys aren't getting them, and, you know, here we are a week later, and we're getting Clone Commandos. That's coming in September. So I think the new reinforcements are definitely going to be a hero and villain. Maybe not both. I think we're going to at least get Ahsoka. I would love to see them just drop both at the same time, Ahsoka and Ventress. And I know that I think what they're just doing is they're taking a little bit more time with these. I mean, if we're looking at Obi-Wan, if we're looking at Dooku, Grievous, Anakin, all 4 of those guys that they dropped a year ago, or close to a year ago with Anakin, they were full of bugs and glitches and issues and being way too overpowered in Anakin's right. So I think that they're taking just that extra bit of time with Ahsoka and Ventress and whoever else they might be adding. I personally think that a lot of guys do have it right. I think we're going to see Padme, and I think her villain counterpart will be Cad Bane. I think it makes sense. Could be wrong, could be Jango Fett, but I doubt it. I think it's going to be Cad Bane. I think he's an asked-for guy. I think that his rocket boots running around with his dual blasters would be an absolute just cool experience, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I think that they're just taking that extra bit of time with these guys and making sure that they do come out, you know, at least not as glitchy. I mean, it seems like DICE can always seem to fail when it comes to just getting these guys 100% at their launch. They seem to use us as the guinea pigs. When we find stuff is when they say, oh, yeah, we knew about that, we're going to fix it. And I think that they're just kind of going to try to eliminate that and just try to have them as close to perfect, which, that's not a bad thing. I'll give them the time, especially if they come out fantastic. But we're just going to have to see if I'm right on that. I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I would say that it's Ahsoka and Ventress. Now, this is /October/December still. We're going to have a special event and also new appearances. I believe the special event is for the Luke skins, or Luke skin, just one, singular. A lot of debate over what that skin might be. Everybody's putting their money into Farm Boy Luke. I'm putting my money into either Ceremony with the yellow jacket Luke from Yavin, or him in the pilot outfit. Either one I think would be good. Farm Boy Luke, to me, just doesn't make a lot of sense for them to put in. However, you know, DICE hasn't always made the best decisions when it comes to that. But I'm just, I don't know. I just have a feeling it's not that one. This is stupid, and this is just how I kind of looked at it. But if you're really going storytelling-wise, Farm Boy Luke wasn't really a Jedi. He really wasn't good with a lightsaber. He didn't actually use much of the Force whatsoever in A New Hope, except for him being able to sense stuff and, you know, that kind of general aspect of using the Force. But you didn't see him really use the lightsaber or anything, so I just don't think that it makes sense to put him in the Farm Boy outfit. I could totally be wrong, but I don't think it will be that. And into just plain into December is the Rise of Skywalker content. Don't exactly know what that's going to entail. If I'm guessing, I guarantee we're probably going to see possibly a Kylo Ren appearance, a new Rey appearance, and definitely a new Finn appearance. I know they've dropped already some images of him from the new movie with that little bit of a trailer that we did get. And yeah, he could definitely deserve to have a new outfit. I know that a lot of players would eat up a new Rey outfit, so I think that's good. Not saying that there aren't others that deserve appearances, like Maul, Emperor, Grievous could definitely deserves, I think, a cloak appearance. To me, the idea of having two basically battle damage versions of him is just dumb. I think the shattered armor was perfect. I think that was a good one to go with. And I think instead of battle damage, they should have just went with the cloak. But, you know, I'm not a developer, so I could just totally not know what I'm talking about. But it makes sense to me. You know, because there's just some characters on here that have just mad outfits for absolutely no reason. Like Lando. Look at this. Lando has so many. Another one that has kind of a ridiculous amount of appearances is somebody like Han Solo. 6 different appearances, and 2 that dropped when the Solo movie dropped. Very interesting. Yeah, so, you know, maybe different appearances for some different characters in the future, but Luke definitely is one guy that definitely deserves him, saying that his only other outfit isn't even really a cool design, it's just reshuffled from Battlefront 2015. It's not even that, to me, great of an attempt at a second appearance. So, for him to get another one, I think that's deserving. And one other thing I do kind of want to point out, and I know I'm going backwards and maybe kicking the dead horse, but I think if you're looking timeline-wise, in October, something else that's dropping, and it's going to be on the Disney app, is going to be Season 7 of the Clone Wars. And to me, DICE is famous for dropping content as films or anything come out Star Wars-wise. They almost try to get some kind of content that coincides with that. And to me, it makes sense, again, that with the Clone Wars Season 7 coming out, that we would see Ahsoka and Ventress be at least mentioned and brought up, if not entered into the game. It just makes sense. Like I said, I could be wrong, but DICE doesn't seem to give out that information until, well, until it happens, until they literally are dropping it, and then they're like, hey, yeah, a week from it coming out, this is what's coming out. So, I definitely think we're gonna see new heroes and villains. They just, unfortunately, aren't allowed to tell us right now. Kind of like the Clone Commandos, I think that they're just trying to get us off the path, off of the trail of us finding, you know, what they're up to. Which is okay. I don't mind being surprised as long as it's worth it. So I just hope that they do drop new heroes and villains. I mean, I could totally be wrong. I could totally be screwing this over, and we're going to get maybe a different new droid or some other clone that maybe I'm not thinking of, but I don't know of any off the top of my head that would be really useful at the current moment. I mean, it could be somebody else, and maybe we're not going to get Ahsoka and Ventress or Padme or anybody else until 2020. Doesn't really make much sense. To me, I agree that with some reviewers that I think after the Rise of Skywalker content and, you know, maybe some other content drops in maybe January, February, I think that will be really it. I don't see why they would continue to add more. I mean, that would be literally 3 years after the games come out. I don't think that they're going to continue to support it that long. I could totally be wrong. They might be looking to add on to this for as long as they're going to keep the servers running. Like, there are some games out there. You know, kind of an example is something like another game that I play is like Killing Floor 2. Came out years ago. They're still coming out with, you know, new weapons, new characters, outfits, blah, blah, blah. They're still very much supporting it. And with probably Battlefront 3 not coming to this gen of game systems, I think that if we are even going to get a BF3, it is not going to come out till next gen. That, to me, that's just a given. It's not going to come out till next gen. Again, you know, I can always be wrong, but I doubt it. Well, I mean, you know, it's definitely not. I mean, look at the timeline here. It's just they're supporting this to at least a decent degree with a small crew of a small dice crew. I don't think that they're working on anything else in the Star Wars genre besides the new single-player game that's coming out. So, yeah, I don't think so, but we'll just have to see. I don't know. Let me know what you guys thought of the community transmission. It seems to be really 50-50. To me, it wasn't bad things. It just was kind of underwhelming things. As it just kind of, they swerved us a lot. But hey, I'm up for some. I'm down to get the surprise. You know, I didn't think Clone Commandos were actually going to come, and there they are. So I got trolled. I fell into it. I believed it. I'm not going to do that again, and I still think that we're being trolled on Ahsoka and Ventress, and that's coming in October to at least be mentioned. But I've already rambled on for way too long on this one. I'm going to go ahead and try to actually get some gameplay on for today. Maybe upload a couple other videos. But that's going to really be it. If you guys like this style of video, of just kind of me kind of going over some things and just kind of talking about information, throw me a like, throw me a subscribe. If maybe you're just into the gameplay videos, or maybe you totally hate what I'm doing, just let me know. I'm always up for, you know, constructive criticism. But I think for right now, guys, that's going to be it. Dead City 25, just signing off again. You guys have a good day, and I will see you on the Battlefront.